This is DWBR of the Philippine Broadcasting Service. 104.3 on FM. Music and talk. Nice and easy.
Good evening. Here's now the final edition of the PBS Network News, September 20, 2013. In the news, Super Typhoon Odet maintains its strength and continues to threaten northern Luzon, packing maximum sustained winds of 205 kilometers per hour and gusts of up to 240 kilometers per hour. Odet was last located 220 kilometers east of Basco, Batanes. Pag-asa raised signal number 4 in the Batanes group of islands, and signal number 3 is up over Calayan group of islands and Babuyan group of islands. Signal number 2 is raised over Cagayan, Apayao, and Ilocos Norte, while signal number 1 is hoisted over Abra, Kalinga, Isabela, Northern Aurora, Quirino, Nueva Vizcaya, Benguet, La Union, Ilocos Sur, Mountain Province, and Ifugao. The typhoon now covers 1,000 kilometers and will enhance the southwest monsoon that will bring moderate to occasionally heavy rains and thunderstorms over the western sections of southern Luzon and Visayas. In the news, 4 MNLF rebels were killed while 2 soldiers were wounded as fresh firefight ensued today. AFP spokesman Lieutenant Colonel Ramon Zagala said government troops also recovered various high-powered firearms when the firefight broke out shortly after 6 this morning. Zagala did not disclose where the fighting occurred, but said it is within the area of constriction. A total of 111 of Ms. Juarez's followers have been captured or have laid down their arms, and 6 rebels surrendered today. At least 20 hostages are still being used by the MNLF as human shields. In the meantime, President Aquino orders an inquiry why the MNLF fighters still have the resources to wage battle after more than a week of fighting. Deputy Presidential Spokesperson Abigail Valdez says while the government did not set a timetable when to end the standoff, she assures that security forces will continue to push forward until all the hostages are freed. Valdez said the military and the police will continue to constrict the movements of the armed rebels. Government troops have also started clearing operations and have asked barangay officials to check the identity of people staying in evacuation centers to make sure no rebels are among those present in temporary shelters. Malacanang assures that government officials were already mobilized to assist the residents who were displaced following the Zamboanga standoff. At the same time, the palace enumerated the projects lined up for the 3.9 billion peso rehabilitation fund for the communities affected by the standoff. More from Melanie Valdos.
Deputy Presidential Spokesperson Abigail Valdez said, under the 3.9 billion pesos are the continuing relief operations or short-term assistance for families affected by the crisis, including the 250 pesos family pack. It also includes the proposed 5,000 pesos assistance for the 10% of the whole number of families in evacuation centers, which falls under the Balik Probinsya project. Educational assistance for teenagers and college students, supplementary feeding program, cash for work or cash for training program also comprises the budget. The government will also help rebuild and construct bank houses and give livelihood assistance to those Zamboangueños who have lost their home. Melanie Valdos reporting for PBS.
In other developments, the government has intensified security measures to prevent the spillover of the Zamboanga crisis in Metro Manila and other parts of the country. Police forces have been on heightened alert in the metro for possible attacks by sympathizers of the Miswari group. Again, we have Melanie Valdos.
Malacanang will not allow similar Zamboanga incident to happen in Metro Manila. President Benigno Aquino III has instructed state forces to ensure there will be no spillover in Metro Manila of the attacks of the Moro National Liberation Front in Zamboanga City. Deputy Presidential Spokesperson Abigail Valti said the Intelligence Committee has already identified the possible threat areas outside of Zamboanga City. The Philippine National Police, National Capital Region implemented heightened alert to ensure the security of the metro. Meanwhile, Valti said that 2 stranded armored personnel carriers that were assisted by the Presidential Security Group had nothing to do with the decision of the Philippine National Police to go on heightened alert. The military said the APCs were escorting a truck filled with ammunition to Sangli Point as part of regular stockpiling. Melanie Valdez reporting for PBS News.
The arrest warrants against those charged in the bloody Atimonan incident are out. Judge Maria Chona Pulgar Navarro of Gumaca, Quezon ordered the arrest of former Calabarzon Police Deputy Head Superintendent Hansel Marantan and 12 other cops for charges of multiple murder and obstruction of justice. Justice Secretary Laila de Lima said there was no bail recommended. Marantan was the ground commander of the government team that carried out the supposed operation against a supposed gun-for-hire group led by Vic Siman. The suspects in the crime had insisted the incident was a shootout, but NBI findings say it was a rub-out. 3 of the policemen who were charged with multiple murder in connection with the Atimonan shootout have gone missing. We have Alvin Baltazar.
These are Superintendent Ramon Balawag, who last reported to the PNP Headquarters Support Service last July 8, PO2 Nelson Imdal, who last appeared to the HSS last August 16, and PO2 Al-Bashar Jailani, who reported to Cramel last August 8. The 3 are under AWOL status and possibly may be dismissed from the service if they fail to report at the PNP Headquarters. The PNP at present is just waiting for a copy of the arrest warrant by the court against their 13 accused colleagues. As soon as they get a furnished copy of the warrant, this is when they would tap the CIDG in order for them to perform the arrest. Alvin Baltasar for PBS News.
Also in the news tonight, marathon hearings have been scheduled for Friday, September 27, in relation to a motion for bail filed by alleged pork barrel scam mastermind Janet Lim Napoles. This is aside from her arraignment on Monday for the serious illegal detention charges she is facing. Napoles was originally set to be arraigned on September 9, but Makati RTC Judge Elmo Alameda postponed this to September 23 due to additional motions filed by the defense. Napoles has filed 4 motions, but Judge Alameda denied all these except for the motion for bail. Serious illegal detention is a non-bailable offense. However, the revised rules of criminal procedure allows for bail when the evidence of guilt is not strong. Malacanang is leaving it up to the Supreme Court to decide whether or not a special court is needed to handle cases on pork barrel fund misuse. Melanie Valdoz with the details.
Deputy Presidential Spokesperson Abigail Valti said it is upon the discretion of the higher court if they would want to form a special division in the Sandigan Bayan like what they have done on some of their cases. Earlier, Association of Major Religious Superiors of the Philippines for Men Executive Secretary Father Marlon Lacal has urged the creation of special court after Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales said the preliminary investigation alone would take a year to finish. Malacanang has earlier ruled out any compromise deal with lawmakers involved in the misuse of the Priority Development Assistance Fund, even if they are allies of the administration. Melanie Valdez reporting for PBS.
Meanwhile, Malacanang says the proposal for a mandatory 14th month pay needs further consultation, particularly with employers. Deputy Presidential Spokesperson Abigail Valti said that while the proposal has its good intentions, it will also need to take into consideration the employer's capacity to provide such additional benefits. The proposed 14th month pay for government and non-government employees is being pushed by Senator Tito Soto. Valti, however, said that it would be up to the lawmakers to decide on the proposal. Malacanang had earlier said there is a need for a delicate balance between the needs of employers and employees, especially on issues of wage increase. Senator Cynthia Villar appeals to the Department of Foreign Affairs to exhaust all means to save the lives of other overseas Filipino workers who are in death row. Villar asked Foreign Affairs Secretary Albert Del Rosario to check on the status of Filipinos awaiting execution. In the meantime, Villar is glad that pardoned Filipino worker Don Lanuza is finally reunited with his family after 13 years in a Saudi jail. More from Jojo Ismael.
Senator Cynthia Villar called on the Department of Foreign Affairs to check on the status of the cases of 87 overseas Filipino workers, OFWs, and overseas Filipinos who are on death row in different countries. Since we are getting a lot of remittance from our OFWs, we should give our resources to OFWs. It should be the foremost job of DFA to really take care of OFWs since they are in a pitiful situation, said Villar. The DFA had earlier reported that majority of the convicted felons are jailed in Middle East countries like Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for commission of a capital offense, including murder, and in China for drug cases. Villar also reminded the Foreign Affairs Department to constantly check on the Bahay Kalinga, the shelter for distressed Filipinos abroad, in the light of reported abuses going on there. She related encountering in several visits to Bahay Kalinga runaway OFWs and those maltreated by their employees who cannot go home to the country because they do not have money to pay for their plane ticket. For PBS News, George Ismael, Sen.
Malacanang urges the public to keep calm on proposals for the government to put up a subway along EDSA. A study is underway to determine the feasibility of a subway along EDSA parallel to the existing MRT. This report from Melanie Valdos.
Deputy Presidential Spokesperson Abigail Valdez said the plan of the Department of Transportation and Communication for the construction of the said subway is not yet final. Valde added the subway plan was since 1975 and was once again proposed by the Japan International Cooperations Agency, or JICA. The palace official said it's too early to post the project because the government is still in the process of studying the plan and will be finished within 4 to 6 months. Melanie Valdes reporting for PBS News.
In business, the Bangko Sentral today said the country's balance of payments surplus surged to $1 billion in April to June, rising higher than the $73 million posted in the same period in last year. A slow yet steady pace of global economic recovery and Japan's sustained recovery aided the development of current and financial accounts, with a modest growth of exports being seen and investment inflows rising. Data also showed that BOP surplus in the first half amounted to $2.6 billion, up 50% from the $1.3 billion recorded in the same period last year. The country's BOP has been in surplus for the last 8 years, reaching a historic high of over $77 billion in January 2012. The BOP represents the country's commercial transactions with the rest of the world. More foreign exchange inflows than outflows yield a surplus. In news abroad, the United States has refused permission for President Nicolas Maduro's plane to pass through its airspace when he travels to China this weekend. Foreign Minister Elias denounced the decision as another insult of North American imperialism against the government. He said no one can deny airspace to a plane carrying a president on an international state visit. The foreign minister, who is set to travel with Maduro to Beijing, said he hopes U.S. authorities will rectify the error, which he blamed on lower-level officials. Elias said they cannot delay their trip, so the government is exploring alternative flights. That's the final edition of the PBS Network News. I'm Cheryl Buenaventura, Ayuste.
This is Business Radio.
Pinoy, wherever we are, wherever we go, we are united, together as one. In a whole new way, we are changing, for we are connected. Anywhere in the world, Pinoy, we are all connected. Anywhere in the world, 7,100 islands, one Philippines, one network, PBS. Pinoy, we are one in mind, one in heart. We can feel it, we're connected.